So hi and welcome to the Fish Tank Diaries, another episode in the series we're doing. Today we've got with us Andrew Ward from Reward I.T. He's going to be talking to us about his journey so far. So Andrew, thank you very much for coming along today.
You're welcome, thanks for asking.
No, it's a pleasure having you here. So you've had the business for, is it 3 years now?
Yeah, since late 2014.
Late 2014, okay, so you're edging up for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So why did you make the decision to take that jump?
I think there's a couple of reasons. I think from a personal reason, I wanted to be more of the master of my own destiny. That doesn't sound too grand.
Master of the universe.
Master of the universe, yeah. I mean, master of the universe would be nice, but probably a long way off yet. I kind of wanted to be responsible for what I did. I wanted to be kind of in control of where things went. It's nice when you work for yourself to be able to have that flexibility around school times and holidays and issues with the kids and family generally. So there was that. From a professional point of view, I wanted to do a better job than our competitors now and other people in the industry were doing. So it was two reasons. I wanted to improve our home life, and I wanted to provide a better service to people.
I suppose the sort of running joke about IT support is you get people, you spend a lot of money on somebody, phone them up and they ask you to turn it off and turn it back on again.
Yeah, normally it does normally work though, to be fair. Do that a lot.
Okay, I can't
Top
really...
tip.
I kind of walked into that one, didn't I? So no, but what sort of stuff did you see in your industry? Because I know that people commonly complain about, calling up an IT support company that their business is paying a retainer for, and then them taking forever to get back to them, or when they speak to them, they get frustrated, because that person assumes they know a lot more about computers than they actually do. That's why they've got the IT support in the first place. So what sort of common issues did you see in your industry that you thought, I'm going to tackle these?
So I think specifically with IT, what we see is that in our space, you get two types of IT company. You get IT companies that are big enough to have sales staff, and you get IT companies who are basically just people who live in basements and never see sunlight. And what we see a lot is you have an IT company and they send a sales guy out, and the sales guy will be really good and really nice and be able to talk to you, and then as soon as you sign on the dotted line, you get the techie guys out who aren't able to converse in language that people understand. And that isn't a criticism of them individually, but I think for us, we found a bit of a space in the market where we go out of our way to try and explain things properly.
Okay, so I understand why you wanted to have your own business, but how do you go about actually making that jump? Because, as I said, family relying, all the rest of it. Do you look at funding, saving up the money yourself? Did you already have people that were willing to sort of work with you from day dot? So how did you make that jump?
I think the big thing for most people when they start their own business is purely the finances. So it's the being able to protect your income and start the business. The business that we're in doesn't need a lot of money to start. You need a little bit of equipment, but it's equipment that most people have got at home anyway. So for me, the plan was to start my own business. So it's about kind of being sensible financially and saving money and having a bit of a buffer behind you, so that you can afford to support yourself, because very few businesses start making money straight away, certainly enough money to pay you. I was fortunate, I was in a reasonably well-paid job, so we just kind of had a period of time where, as a family, we just kind of saved like mad, really, I guess, and had a little bit of capital behind us, and just started.
You're 3 years in, mistakes. So has your business sort of organically grown with mitigating a lot of risk?
Yeah, it has. I mean, we're quite fortunate because we've never had to borrow money. So the business has never had any debt from day one, other than a couple of £100 that it took to start the business up. But mistakes, I think everybody makes mistakes. I made a mistake yesterday. In fact, I probably made a couple today. And for me, it's about learning from those mistakes. I did a proposal for a customer recently, and I allowed the customer to kind of talk me into leaving something out of the proposal inadvertently. The guy didn't do it on purpose, but I kind of omitted something that I would normally put in the proposal, and then the feedback I got when we didn't win the project was that the thing that I left out was something that he would have quite liked. So that's kind of something that 3 years down the line, that's a mistake, and we sort of move on, and that's then prompted me to look at how we make sure that our proposals are as good as they can be. So we're in the process at the moment of redesigning our proposal to make sure that the content that he felt was lacking or missing is included for next time. So yeah, I mean, I think that part of being successful generally in life, whether it's business or being a parent or being a husband or a friend or whatever, is accepting that you are always going to make mistakes, and moving on from that. I probably make a mistake every day, but I just try not to make the same mistake.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
And again, that's what I would ask from staff as well, people who work for me or with me. I would never allow myself to get too excitable if somebody makes a mistake. But I think if someone makes the same mistake over and over again, you need to look at why that's happening. But I think mistakes are healthy. I think mistakes are good for business and for you individually.
Being a layman when it comes to IT, what's the best way to sort of protect myself moving forward? It's
a very difficult question to answer in a kind of a succinct way. Every business is different. Every business has different systems and different challenges and different kind of ways that it uses IT, it utilises IT to achieve its objectives. I think that if I had to just pick one thing, it's a good backup. I think if you've got a good backup of your data, it doesn't really matter what happens. Eventually, you're going to be okay. You're going to go through some pain, but it's not going to be terminal.
Yeah.
I think the people who really suffer are the people who experience these issues and have got no way back from it.
Yeah, so the point you were making was that, regardless of the size of the business, if you don't have data, if you haven't got your data backed up, you are knackered.
Yeah, properly. And there's very few, there's not much you can do to get yourself out of that position as well. And there's ways of recovering it. I do have a customer that before they moved over to us, they actually paid the ransom. They paid a Bitcoin ransom, and they did get their data back. And for them, that was the most kind of pain-free way of doing it. It cost them several £1,000s, and they did get their data back, and they got a really nice email from the hackers as well. So that was
nice. Thank you for your money.
Yeah, cheers. Picture him on the beach. So that was fine. I mean, there's some ethical questions about paying ransom, and personally, I don't think you should. But for them, that was all they could do because their previous IT guy had sort of left them a bit high and dry. They thought they had a backup, and they didn't.
So what sort of advice would you give to somebody who's literally sitting there watching this going, I want to hand in my notice next month or in 3 months' time or 6 months' time? What would you want them to be considering at this stage?
I think it depends. It depends on the person. I think there's lots of things. I think that working for yourself, running your own business it can be quite lonely sometimes, and I think that it's worth bearing that in mind before you start. And I think that having a plan in place to deal with that is good. I think that's just as important as having a financial plan in place to understand that it's going to be a bit lonely, to understand that you're going to get rejected, to understand that it's going to be a bit miserable, and to understand that you're going to have people who don't work for themselves, who maybe can't quite understand why you're doing something for a customer at 3 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday.
Yeah.
True story. All that kind of stuff that you don't that you don't really appreciate. And I think that, for me, the thing that I found the hardest is being in a situation where we've kind of had, every business goes through a change, whether it's employing a member of staff or, losing a member of staff or losing a customer or getting a customer or moving office or whatever it may be, where at some point something's going to happen and you're going to want to talk to somebody about it and you can't because you're the only person there. And that's happened to me a few times where I've been in a situation and I've sort of thought, I literally can't do anything other than just deal with it myself. And that's quite difficult for somebody who's worked for somebody else, because when you work for somebody else, there's always somebody else you can go to.
Yeah.
When you work for yourself, you're kind of you're the last point sometimes.
Yeah.
So I've had a couple of situations where I've sort of sat there thinking, what am I going to do? Or I don't want to do this, but you kind of have to, and you've got to get on with it. So I think you need to be aware of that. I think so to accept the fact that life's going to be tough for a bit, and to treat it as a learning experience.
Sorry, we're disturbing you.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were still resetting.
Fish Tank Diaries. Today we've got
I'm in a fish tank.
Fish Tank Diaries. Today we've got Reward I.T with us. Andrew, thank you very much for coming along today.